Hey, Alex, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, man. This is going to be a blast. I don't have as pretty of a view as you do looking out here, but I'll just look at you
Hey,
instead.
hey, it's there you go. Well, I'm glad to finally have you on. We've known each other for so many years, but for the ones that don't know who you are, who are you? What you do?
My name is Alex Membrillo. I live in Atlanta. Started an agency called Cardinal Digital Marketing 16 years ago after graduating school. I guess we were 24 back then, and it is a specialist agency, healthcare performance marketing. We help PE-backed multi-site provider groups, think big doctor and dental groups, scale through digital media, SEO, stuff like that. So a niche within a niche, and we can talk about that transition because we did not start that way, but we're about 100 people now. And yeah.
What made you start the agency?
Desperation. I found out I was having a kid, and I looked at my dad's business almost went under because he hired a really shitty SEO company that didn't know what they were doing. And that really ticked me off. So I called my fraternity brother from Georgia State and I was like, hey man, we can start. I built a website when I was 16. We can do a digital marketing company. He was like, that sounds like a dumb idea, but let's try it anyways. And so a day after my 16-year-old was born, we left Piedmont Hospital, start cold calling local businesses and selling websites. Those went poorly, stopped doing that. Then partnered with our first SEO client, a kayak lessons company, taking people down the Ocoee. And we crushed on SEO, and he ranked first page of Google 2 weeks later. And we're like, well, we're good at this. We actually are. Okay. And so we'll start going with that. And then we started doing paid PPC like a month after that. So it's kind of desperation. And we saw, I don't know if it's a gap in the market. We just got ticked off by all of those. Like, think about it. In 2009, there was a lot of people who claimed to know SEO and PPC, and they were totally full of shit. And we saw a lot of that. And we did not. We said, hey, listen, if we suck at this, we'll give you your money back and close this thing down and go work at Enterprise Wash, rent a car, washing cars all day. That was the only job back then in the recession. But it turned out that we were useful to our small business clients.
Yeah, well, it's funny that you were like, yeah, my kid was born in Piedmont Hospital. My two kids were born there as well.
Really?
But yeah, I also remember those times too, as, especially around the downturns, right? Especially 2009, like there was so much opportunity there because the bigger agencies started to really struggle. Like when we started in 99, we saw the same thing, around 2001. And we got some momentum. And then when 08 hit, I remember I was like, oh, here's another little momentum boost for us that we can kind of take up.
And then that's when all the traditional agencies said, yeah, no, we're digital. We're digital. But all of these young bucks like we were back then that were actually digital focused, and that's all we had done, were, I guess, more credible than them. But it's funny. All the traditional guys ended up being digital things. Man, you started in 99.
Yeah.
Were you hand coding in Dreamweaver, probably some crazy shit like that?
I did front page. And we actually had to give permissions to images on Telnet in order for those images to be shown. That's how far back it went.
Oh my God, that's crazy. And now, how many years later are we at? 26. And I mean, I can't say all that much has changed. I think the next 3 years, websites will be built very differently, but.
Well, I remember the first time looking at a website that was built in CSS, and I looked at the developer. I go, what kind of fucking crap did you just build? Like, this is horrible, because I built everything in tables.
Yeah.
And then little did I know, I was totally wrong. I was like, well, and then they started explaining to me. I was like, that was the last website I ever built. I was like, all right, you guys built from now on.
Yeah, it's time for me to run this business, not do this business.
Yeah. How many years did it take you to learn that lesson, to really kind of get out of your way?
I learned the lesson early on, but I couldn't get out of the lesson because we're so small. We were hiring interns and not even paying them back then. We didn't even give gas cards. It was terrible. And so I was account managing.
We did the same.
And then we learned a lesson. Like, you could get away with a lot in the recession because nobody had jobs, and the promise of like, hey, you could get a full-time thing here at Cardinal, which I don't even know why anybody would have wanted it. We didn't know what the hell we were doing back then. But we started with that. And I remember I was account managing 20 accounts myself and driving around selling local clients as well and doing the QuickBooks books. And that lasted probably a couple years of doing all of that nonsense. And then we brought on couple key magicians early on that helped start taking that stuff off. But
Which key roles helped you out the most in
the
when it
generalist
started?
stuff, the generalist role on operate, if you call it operations, it's someone that was actually doing the work and was a generalist and could take an account and say, yeah, I'll go do the article spinning, launch the PR thing, and then do some PPC. Those roles are critical in the beginning. You're not big enough to have specialists. And my friend Kristen came on board and helped start selling. And so that helped. And I could account manage the bigger ones and just help sell the bigger ones. And so that helped. But I think looking back, the key thing is to not relinquish any of it when you're small. Don't start marketing or selling yourself. Don't get out of the client work entirely. You never do. I've spent the last 3 hours on client calls, which would seem crazy. But it's how you stay close to the thing. And yeah, it never ends. The job really never ends. The size of clients, the only thing that's changed.
Yeah. Let's talk about niching down. What did you do right? What did you do wrong?
So in 2020, we had stalled out. 2016, big stall out. We were stuck at like 3.5 million in revenue for 3 or 4 years, and we couldn't figure out what to do. And so then I created 4 doorways on the website: higher ed, home services, healthcare, legal, and got ranked for all of them. Like law firm marketing, PI, healthcare, dental, home services, right? And so in 2016, that helped propel us into getting a good bit of clients through the rankings. And then 4 years after that, we got stuck at 7 or 8 million, I think, in 2020. And COVID hit, and I said, I'm tired of being stuck at this new number. This sucks. We need to choose expertise over variety. And we looked at all of the niches we were in: higher ed, healthcare, home services, legal. And we said, this is the most noble in healthcare. We all feel warm and fuzzies about it. We actually do like connecting patients with care. We have some really good case studies, 2 of the biggest dental and care, urgent care things. And I read that Hedgehog book at the same time, Economic Engine, What Can You Be the Best in the World, whatever those 3 things. I said, health. Okay. And so we chose healthcare. And there's a lot of different types of healthcare, but think medical groups and dental groups, not pharma or anything. And so we chose that, and we left the others kind of behind. And higher ed is still about 16% of our business. And that's the one I wish we didn't totally close out, because we love that and we are very good at that. And it's fun not doing HIPAA compliance advertising all day. So that's still a decent part of our business. And
so did you just like fire those clients, or did you just stop marketing to them?
Stop marketing to them and let them fall off. And I think that, they start figuring it out 6 months. Oh, the email signatures changed, and it has like invites to healthcare events. And like they go to the website and they see only healthcare on there. So they figured it out and started trading. And what you have to hope is that your specialization is signing more than you are trading, and you're being fair with the clients that have left and doing good work still. But you have to hope that you're overcoming that. Now, when you start a niche, you can't just say we are healthcare. We did a ton of stuff to try to pretend like we were healthcare. I wrote a stupid ass book on Amazon. It's got 3.5 stars. We did that. And I would walk around Atlanta to medical practices and stuff. And then we started getting really serious about our thought leadership in healthcare, and that really helped. But I wish we had done something with higher ed positioning, because I think that could have been really significant. But who knows? The focus that we have on healthcare probably has helped not have anybody distracted.
Because I always tell everybody, and I realized this at the first agency too, is your clients aren't paying attention to you like you think they are.
They are
right? Not. And as long as you kind of go to them and be like, look, you're still a big focus for us. We want to help you. Like if they fit that criteria, if they've grown with you, right?
Yeah.
If they're like kind of on the legacy pricing from the very beginning when you started, you should get rid of them if you can't upgrade them in pricing, because then the opportunity cost is so different. But if you had like, one of our clients was Morehouse School of Medicine, right? One in the higher ed. And, if we said, we're not doing higher ed anymore, we're just going to go after Lotus Cars and automotive. Well, I still think I could have kept Morehouse School of Medicine as long as I was upfront with them, even if they saw the website changing, because I don't even think they would go to the website.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I'm just like, market to the niche.
They do not care. Yeah.
Yeah.
They do not care. It's when probably service slipped a little bit. We didn't know some of the vernacular, and someone walked into a meeting and said, yeah, we're trying to drive you more patients. And they're like, what? We want cases. What are you talking about? But we have several higher ed clients that have chosen us because we are not a higher ed agency. They said, we're tired of all those. They think the same way. We actually love that you are something different. So that
That's
I thought, ballsy
crazy.
of them, and it's worked out well. So you're right. If you go to them and say, we're going to do this, but we're not changing our delivery, evaluate us over the next 6, 12 months. If we start sucking because we're distracted, dump us. Just want you to know we're doing this. We did not have the cojones to do that back then. And with key clients, probably would do it differently if we did it again.
Yeah. So when you got over these plateaus, what were some of the things that allowed you to get over these plateaus? Because like when you talked about the first one, like I think you said you got to the 4 million and kind of just stalled out. Anywhere from like 1 million to 4 million is like no man's fucking land. I felt when we were at our agency. Is that kind of the same?
Yeah, every day it could go either way. You go to 0, you go to 4, you stay at 4, you could go to 0 the next day. And most of us in the 0 to 4 have one big client. We did. We had 2 of them, Papa John's and Cox Median, that both left within 90 days. And we almost went to 0. It's no man's land. You're not really anything except a really successful owner operator at that time with a good income. It's not a business yet. And so really hard to get it to be a business. It's brutal.
So to get past that point, was it just bringing on other clients?
Talented people around me, Lauren, Erica, Jason, Rich, they were in those earlier years, and we kind of like trudged our way through operations, learned enough. How does project management work? Okay, those 2 big clients left, and so we had to build our own marketing system. I definitely believe that you can grow your way out of a lot of problems. And so every time we were stuck, we just probably needed better marketing, get bigger clients. And that helped us grow. And then you have to be smart enough to realize I need more talented people and go hire really talented people. So like it sounds easy, but like there have to be enough people that make the right call on talent that you put around. And don't listen to a lot of experts that say, go get a COO and you need a head of finance. Like I made that mistake 83 times. You know more than you think. And I think now is not the time for all of that overhead bullshit. Do as much as you can as the owner, have all the departments report to you. I promise you don't need a COO. We are 100 some people and we have no head of operations. We have no head of finance and we're doing fine. They report into me. You get smart, talented people. You don't want a ton of middle management people that are just pushing paper. Everybody is billable is what they say. Everybody's doing client work. We barely time track. Do great work. Have everybody doing effing work, including yourself, is key, and market the shit out of the agency. So you always have new blood, new clients coming in, and you can make decisions on clients that are not a fit anymore, or change your time to a growth client or whatever it is. But marketing yourself, very important. Everybody doing work, also very important.
Yeah. But you do have a number 2 though, right?
Lauren is my right-hand woman. But she heads up sales and marketing. There's no head of operations at the company. And
I like that. I was, thinking back because I do remember a lot of people going, you need to hire a CMO, you need to hire a COO. And I always just had like a VP of operations. That was our highest one. And I just interviewed Chris Dwyer. We'll link up somewhere on this episode.
SEO, he does lawyer
rankings.io.
Rankings.io, right? Yeah.
And
he's a good guy.
We were talking about how he uses AI, and he created a number of different custom GPTs for each role. So a CFO, a COO role, and is trained these GPTs, right? And so he just bought a business, one of our members' businesses. I didn't know he was buying one of our members until after. And he told me, he goes, and I went to him because he's over 30 million in revenue. I was like, Chris, I've been telling you to buy an agency for years, ever since you were under the million mark when we were, right? And he goes, I was like, why didn't you do it yet? He's like, I didn't have the confidence. I didn't know what questions to ask. So I just started asking ChatGPT, what questions should I ask? What type of clients should I look for? Or what type of agencies should I look for buying? How do I put a thing together? He would take Adam's numbers, put it in chat and be like, tell me what I should look at.
Stop. That's awesome.
And I started laughing. And then I was like, that's kind of brilliant. So then I started, and then here's the exercise I want everybody listening, if you didn't check out the Chris episode, because at the very end, I was like, all right, everyone should take all of your numbers from your business and put it into chat and prompt it, right? And say like, You're the best CFO or you're the best M&A advisor. Look at all of these things and tell me what are red flags. You know exactly what to work on. And so he created all these roles, like this board of advisors in custom GBTs. And then I was like, I'm gonna do that. So I started doing that. And it's been amazing.
That's so crazy. I feel bad for all the private equity analysts coming out of Wharton.
Oh, they're toast. Yeah,
See you later.
They're not host. It's kind of like the same thing that people say about agencies, right? Like they're host to the people that are resourceful and like technology, right? Because then, I don't need these firms to do an analysis on my business. I could just put everything in and educate it and all that kind of stuff and get amazing results, right? Most people are not going to do that. Most people want to work with agencies, or most people want to work with advisors or whatever it is. So it's but yeah, it was pretty funny.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm gonna put in the P&L into ChatGPT later and tell him.
Yeah,
ask him where I can.
You put in the P&L, and then like if you get monthly reports from your bookkeeper or your accountant, right? That's what I do, right? They send me reports and I look at it and I'm like, God, I'm such a caveman. I hate numbers. I hate spreadsheets. I just load it up into one custom GPT. I'm like, here's May's numbers. Tell me what, and then they're like, oh, May was a big month, or June was a low month, or whatever it is. It's pretty cool.
It'll spot the fluctuations, which is usually where I need help. Why is cost up in general? I don't feel like going line by line.
Yeah, so we had our event Elevate in February. So in March, when we ran I put in the numbers for February, it was like, man, your expenses went way up. But we assumed that it was because of your event Elevate in Phoenix. It knew that.
How does it know that?
I don't know. It's witchcraft stuff.
Yeah, dude, it's so creepy. See you later, CEOs. Also,
and then there's the other side, like, in our mastermind, we're always talking about AI now. And like, what should you put in? What's going to be, like, where does this stuff go? Right. I'm like, I don't care if people know my numbers. What are they going to do? I don't care if people know exactly my exact plan. They can't replicate exactly what we're doing. Yeah. And they're fucking too lazy most of the time anyway.
Yeah. Execution is the whole thing. I love all these ChatGPTs. It gives ideas and it gives you input and stuff, but it doesn't go do any of the work yet. So we are safe for a little while. Yeah.
No, until Skynet takes over and kills us all.
Literally, what's really funny about if we are in a simulation, you're gonna be like, look at this. They literally saw the movie and still fucking did it.
Yeah.
How dumb are these creatures? How dumb are these creatures? Like the aliens watching us assume we're not in simulation. Still saw the movie, loved the guy, still made it happen. It is unbelievable. That being said, I can't wait to have a humanoid robot in the house, fucking doing the dishes and the laundry and cooking dinner and all that stuff. So I am excited about the time before Arnold comes. I think it's going to be really enjoyable.
Yeah, we're living almost in the Jetson world.
Yeah, it's gonna be like euphoric, and then they're gonna be like, "We don't need you, idiots."
Yeah, you're polluting everything. That's right. Cool. Last thing I want to talk about is what gave you the courage to buy out your partner?
He wasn't as into it. I love Steven, and we started this thing. We're still really close friends. He just lost interest, and I think he told me one day, he's like, "I'm just tired of helping these clients." Like, I just don't like hearing them gripe. And we're just making them money. And I was like, I know, but that makes us money. And so he lost interest. And then I was in business at the time, and I would run it by them all the time. And we negotiated for a year. I remember we went to the World Cup in Brazil. I negotiated there, blah, blah, blah. And it took a long time. And I paid what seemed like it seemed astronomical at the time. And I had so much confidence, like I can turn Cardinal into a huge thing. But it seemed really crazy, and I bit the bullet, and those payments did hurt in those coming years, and everyone around me thought I was really stupid for doing it. But yeah, I didn't see another way forward. He had become totally disengaged, and I said, I'll pay whatever to bank on myself to get this movie.
The best negotiations for something like that, because that was something like with my business partner at Solar. I wish I had the confidence to do that. That was one of the main reasons I sold, because I just felt like I don't think he'd lost motivation. I think he just felt like the agency did outgrow him. And I don't think he felt like he had the place.
Yeah.
And I was just too young at the time. I was still early 30s, I think. I was just like, well, let's sell it then.
Yeah.
Versus, because then I look back, I'm like, man, I could have owned the 100% of it, and then I could have turned it kind of in what you have now. I'm like, God damn it. But then again, I wouldn't have
those
created this.
following years took probably 30 years off my life, though, running it with the debt and still being small and not knowing what the fuck we're doing. So you look good, your hair is nice, you're in Durango, life is good, the kids are going off to college. Like, my heart doesn't work. I had heart surgery, knee surgery, fuck every kind of surgery. So, yeah, it's a thing now. But like, dude, how many years did it take off my life going through that buyout and paying that debt back? I didn't sleep for like 3.5 years. I put every dollar of profit, $35,000 a month for 3 years to pay down that $1 million thing.
Wow.
It was terrible. Now it seems like it was good in hindsight, but no, don't regret what you did. And life is good either way.
Awesome. Well, cool. Well, Alex, is there anything I didn't ask you that you think would benefit the listeners listening in?
No, if anybody wants to hit me up on LinkedIn, I think we have a pretty good marketing system for stupid buzzword, but thought leadership type stuff that helped us niche into the healthcare thing. I'm happy to give anybody the playbook on how we've kind of rolled that out and the drawbacks and advantages of niching down and how crazy that was 5-6 years ago. And so if anybody ever wants to run anything by me, find me on LinkedIn and
awesome.
Give me a playbook.
Well, killer. Well, thanks so much for coming on the show. And anybody listening, I'm doing something I haven't really ever done. For years and years, we've had over 20,000 people buy the agency playbook, which is an 8-system framework that I've used and many agencies have used over the years. I'm giving that away for free. If you go to my website, just click on, or if you go to swank.it or the website, you'll see the playbook on there, and just put in Swank It and you get it for free. So go there, and until next time, have a swank day. I hope you enjoyed this content. If you want more content like this, make sure you click on the link on the screen or check out your most popular podcast platform where the full episode is there. And until next time, have a swank day. What are you doing? Go check it out. Click on the link. I'll see you soon.